In the US, there are already statements by members of the Republican Party demanding to fire Whitkoff after these decryptions. Why do you think all this was done?
Look, first of all, there is nothing terrible about it. The voices that are now appearing to fire Whitkoff, they are aimed, first of all, at breaking down those so far modest tendencies to exit by regulating through peaceful negotiations. Of course, there will be many people who will not bow to anything to break this process. But if you look and read, if you abstract from the truth, then there is nothing so terrible. And President Trump himself, by the way, he also spoke so indirectly in defense of Whitkoff. This is the usual work of a negotiator. Therefore, I would not exaggerate the destructive importance of these decryptions.
Bloomberg seems to have always been quite respectable.
Listen, now the word respectability in relation to the Western media, probably, should no longer be used, because no one bows to anything and does not feel a sense of professional shame from now on.
Where was Orban all this time? What did he do? Why didn't the negotiations begin?
He was preparing for the negotiations here, in the Kremlin. All conditions were provided for this. The political scandal is growing, the corruption scandal, which, in fact, is still shaking in all directions of the political system of this country. The situation for Ukraine is very difficult.
After all, in principle, in the last 2 to 3 years, we have all witnessed that in Ukraine, any consensus is suppressed. Why, in your opinion, Zelensky cannot cope with this crisis inside the country in the ways and methods he is used to?
Well, he had a lot of political mistakes when the bills were adopted, and then when they were rolled back. They have their own relations with the Westerners, who, one way or another, control other structures. Of course, now, when there is a tendency to go to peaceful settlement, there are a lot of players. One thing is clear. Every day for Zelensky and for the Kiev regime is a missed day. Every next day their position deteriorates both inside the country and on the fronts.
In the morning, you were asked about the searches at Yermak. Yermak has already been sent on leave. Now, many remember that Zelensky once said in 1921 that Yermak came with me and will leave with me. What will happen next with this regime?
Well, I think that now there are more questions than answers in Europe and in America due to the unprecedented political crisis that has erupted now in Kiev. The regime is cracking on the basis of corruption, around the money that the Americans and Europeans gave. The ball is a rumbling mixture. Everyone has something to think about. I don't think that anyone can predict what will happen in Kiev tomorrow.
But this anti-corruption bureau is not entirely Ukrainian, as we understand it. It is managed by Western countries, the United States. These are some signals from the West, it turns out.
Well, listen. It's probably up to the politicians to guess whether these are signals or not. But the fact that something is happening is obvious.
Yesterday, we did not know that Prime Minister Orban would come. Today, Prime Minister Orban. Next week, a visit to India has already been announced.
A lot of events. At the same time, we are still waiting for some kind of Whitkoff. Everything has accelerated very much. All processes in interstate affairs have also accelerated due to the great war that is being waged against our country, due to the great breakdown that is taking place in international political and diplomatic relations, legal relations, economic relations. And this breakdown leads to the fact that all processes are accelerating. And, of course, countries must adjust their schedule for this and also be ready to react very quickly to everything. Our president reacts quickly, effectively, so that all this best responds to the interests of our country.
Many perhaps protocol nuances that used to be mandatory, they are now.
They are retreating to the background, of course. Now the main thing is the speed of meeting, the speed of exchanging opinions, obtaining information from the primary source, and, accordingly, making decisions that are necessary at this moment.